Hello, and welcome to Make a Difference, the show about how volunteers are making a difference every day right here in Montgomery County. I'm your host, Sandy Smith. The weather is gorgeous outside, and everyone is out and about. Montgomery County parks are major attractions, especially during the warm months. Our guests today are new to the show. Molly Gallant is the Senior Volunteer Services and Partnerships Coordinator with Montgomery Parks, and Shirl Spicer is the Cultural Resources Museums Manager for Montgomery Parks also. Welcome to Make a Difference, Molly and Shirl.
For having us.
Thank you.
So ladies, I had no idea that there were so many parks just in Montgomery County. How many roughly would you say we have?
Montgomery Parks has around 420 parks across 37,220 acres.
Wow, that's incredible. And so the parks department is sort of like the umbrella, and you have different departments and divisions underneath. But what do you specifically do?
So the Volunteer Service Office is an office that serves the entire Parks Department, about 10 different divisions for any of their volunteer service needs. So most of what we do is almost like a matchmaker. We advertise to residents and others of what opportunities are available in parks, as well as we recruit. So if we do have an opportunity that's available and we're looking for very specific talent, we work with our volunteer program managers, put together job descriptions that are very detailed so people know what they're getting into, and we put it out there. So sometimes people call us up and say, hey, I'm looking for, I really love frogs. And so we'll look for any opportunities that they could work with either frogs or any other amphibians, as well as sometimes we get calls saying, hey, we have a group project for 60 people. And so we'll work with some of our other park managers as well as our volunteer programs to find the right match for what they're looking for.
Gotcha. So you function very similar to the Volunteer Center for the entire county. It's just you're more specific with parks. And
correct.
So, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, just correct.
Okay, so you sort of you play the matchmaker game, and the different departments have their own specific needs for volunteers. So obviously you're a partner with us, the Volunteer Center, but would you say that you have you have very diverse needs? Are there more areas where you need more volunteers?
Currently, we have 174 different jobs for volunteers or workday opportunities that span all of our divisions. So there is a very, very wide variety. So if you're looking for something of, maybe sitting at a front desk and greeting people at one of our nature centers, or if you want to be more by yourself, we have Bluebird monitoring opportunities where we train you, and it's more of a citizen science type of project where you go out and count and report back data. So, and it's everything in between.
Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, so you have some really incredible opportunities for those interested in history. Shirl, we have three historic sites located right in Montgomery County. Tell us about those sites and the volunteer opportunities available.
Well, we've got a number of historic sites that are open within the county. We have three really recognizable museums of those historic sites. The Josiah Henson Museum and Park is the newest in North Bethesda, and the Woodlawn Museum, which is located within Woodlawn Manor Cultural Park, which also incorporates the more familiar Underground Railroad Experience Trail and our hikes there. And then we also have one of our largest historical sites is the Agricultural History Farm Park in Durwood, which has our historic Buzzard Farmstead and the historic Newmantown, an African-American kinship community, along with one of our oldest historic sites in Olney, or historic Brookville, the Oakley Cabin African-American Museum and Park. And then up county in Clarksburg, we have our Kingsley Schoolhouse, which is a beautiful restored 19th century one-room schoolhouse So within each of these historic sites, there are opportunities for volunteers to serve as docents or trained volunteer guides that provide guided tours, that do living history demonstrations for special events. So we also accept guides. We recently opened Oakley Cabin for the season with our annual African dance workshop, our cultural dance workshop, and we had a number of students. I'm so excited to say we had like 5 awesome students from the area high schools who were earning SSL hours.
Right.
So if you are 16 and old, or rather not 16, you can be 14 and older. I'll check the ages with Molly, but we can take young people who are in school and offer them SSL opportunity hours at each of the historic sites. We have a number of special events that take place throughout the year where we do a huge call out for volunteer support for the one day. And so if you love working with our shortest park visitors, our preschoolers, their hands-on activities, if you don't mind getting muddy and dirty and playing in the grass with them and leading them on games and activities, we welcome you. If you want to dive in a little deeper into some historic fun, there are historic and old-fashioned games that we play, and then just simple hands-on activities that we do with visitors, that those who are talented, we might do a call out for our knitters or a call out for all of those in fiber arts to come and lend a hand and help share this terrific tradition with our public. So we offer those types of opportunities also.
And that's fantastic because kids are really trying to wrap up those SSL hours as
Ooh,
quickly as
yes.
possible. And it
Ooh,
sounds
yes.
like it's exciting and fun. So there are a lot of in-person, obviously, volunteer opportunities. Do you have any virtual opportunities available just across the board at parks?
The virtual opportunities we have at this point in time are very minimal. We do have a lot of independent out in the field, like the citizen science opportunities that I mentioned before. But at this time, we don't necessarily have a lot of virtual. We do have independent, but not necessarily virtual.
Okay, that's great though. That's great to know. And what about training? Do you kind of get thrown into it? I'm sure you don't. What type of training and commitment as far as hours, days, does it vary, or do you,
So
is it
it's a
specific?
wide variety of opportunities. So a lot of the things that Cheryl just mentioned, is some training involved with a lot of positions that we have.
Yes.
We do have lead volunteer positions where we almost bring you in, we train you, and then you have a certain commitment to us to show up for those programs over an extended period of time. But then we also have a lot of opportunities for people that don't have any background or training and they just want to come out for their SSL hours or just for a day event.
Right.
2 of the programs that are very popular for day of, one time, no training is required, is our Weed Warrior program. We're always looking for, that people power to come out and pull those non-native invasives from our parkland, and you will be led by somebody who is very well trained. So if you ever have any questions or concerns, you always have somebody there to ask. We also have our Stream Striders program. The Stream Striders program is similar. We're always recruiting for those new lead positions, which there is a lot of training involved with that, as well as that commitment. But then we also have a lot of the day of, which is great if you're looking for SSL hours. A lot of it is cleaning up our parks that have, some excess litter or, some issues that we need to address with that extra people power to go out and just pick up litter so that it doesn't end up in our waterways.
Yes, that's so important. I believe we had a representative from Weed Warriors not last year, but I believe the year before, and it was fascinating. Not for me so much in the weeds, but listen, there are a lot of people that do enjoy that. So I think that's great. So if you want to become involved, you want to volunteer, how do people get in touch with you?
So we have a wonderful volunteer website, the volunteer at Montgomery Parks.org. And we have all of our listings are there. They're actually listed by category and interest, as well as, the date that they're coming up will feature ones that we're still recruiting very heavily for. So you're able to take what you are passionate about or things that you might be interested about and see what all of those opportunities are available.
Yeah, so for us, we are recruiting always for Oakley, Kingsley, Ag History Farm Park, as well as now for Henson and Woodlawn. Once we get new staff on board that are going to be the volunteer coordinators, there'll be another call out for volunteers for those two historic sites. For the fall coming up, we will need tons of volunteers to help with the Harvest Festival this year, and it happens on October 7th. The first Saturday of October is our Harvest Festival that usually draws in about 16 to 1800 people. And so we have volunteers that do a little of everything. It's a full day event on the 7th.
Oh, that's fantastic. And I also want to mention that the Parks Department and the Volunteer Center are collaborating on a community service volunteer fair that is scheduled for Saturday, October 14th. And there will be more information to come on how to register for that event. So we're excited to partner with that opportunity. So we will be looking for a lot of volunteers for that, because we will have a lot of things that we need to do, including setup, cleanup, and everything in between. So I'm excited about that also. Is there anything else that you would like the public to know about parks and the volunteer opportunities that are available?
We love our volunteers and we can't do it without them. When you have got, over 37,000 acres of parkland, even though we do have a very robust and talented staff, it is a lot of parkland, and there, are always opportunities for people to get involved, to be good stewards of those parks and those resources. So come on.
We need them. We need you.
Yes, we need you.
We've been speaking with Molly Gallant from Montgomery Parks, as well as Shirl Spicer. Thank you for joining us today, Molly and Shirl.
Thanks for the invitation and opportunity to share.
If you're interested in these or any other volunteer opportunities, please go to our website, montgomeryserves.org. I'm your host, Sandy Smith. April was Volunteer Appreciation Month, and I would like to thank the people that volunteer with the Volunteer Center. Carly Lee, Deborah Rogers, Navneeta Chandra, Tina Chang, Janice Tabor, and Gwen Haney. Thank you so much for all your time and dedication. The Volunteer Center could not function without you. Thank you for joining us, and let's be sure to make a difference.